All right. What do you got online, Caroline?
Yep, we've got almost 200 questions, so I'll try to group some of the
We don't have time for all
topics.
those.
Yeah, we'll just take a couple hours. So on the MAX, you talked about that. Can you speak to whether or not we're going to get compensation from Boeing, and what's going to happen to our pending MAX orders if the production of the MAX is discontinued? And then why can't we keep the Super 80s around a little longer to cover some of the MAX flying?
Okay, I'll try these quickly, and then somebody else can chime in if you want. Compensation for Boeing. We have had conversations with Boeing about what this is costing American Airlines, and our view that it's none of our doing and all of theirs, and therefore we believe we should be compensated for that in the spirit of the partnership. They haven't argued that point, but we also haven't talked details about how much and how that compensation comes. Boeing did set up in their financial statements this quarter a large reserve, $5-point-something billion that they set aside. Excuse me. It specifically noting that it's for airline customers that have been harmed by this. So certainly some amount of that is ours. I don't know how much. I don't know in what form. We will get to that at the right time, which will be sometime between now and year end, in more detailed conversations with Boeing, but nothing, I don't know any more than that right now. But I suspect they will do what good partners do and make sure that they work with us in the spirit of the partnership. What's the situation if indeed it doesn't ever return to flying? Well, if that's the situation, of course, we would need to figure out what else we do instead, because we have those aircraft on order. I do not, by any stretch of the imagination, believe that's going to be the case. What we fully believe is that we wouldn't be selling tickets in November 3rd if we didn't think there was a real chance of us being able to have scheduled service and serve those customers on November 3rd. So that's what we believe right now. We believe that based on the best information available, meaning the top people at Boeing and the FAA telling us the same storyline, which is that Boeing was sent back to make one specific fix to the software that hadn't been made at the time they'd sought approval the first time. Boeing's view is they will have that software done in a way and back to the FAA in a way that would allow the aircraft to be able to be back in scheduled service, to be back in service, I should say, early in the fourth quarter is what Boeing's saying. So assuming that's true, we believe if it's certified and able to fly early in the fourth quarter, that we have a good chance of flying at least a significant number of those flights on November 3rd. And we'll continue to reassess. If that's not the case, we'll address that November 3rd issue. But the aircraft's going to fly again, and when it does, we're all going to know that it's the safest airplane because of everything that's gone through, and most importantly because the American Airlines pilots who will not fly an airplane unless it's 100% safe will be flying it. What was the third part of that?
Can we keep the MD-80s around longer?
We cannot. We're gonna have a big celebration on September 4th, by the way, in celebration of that airplane and what it's meant to American Airlines. But we don't have pilots trained to fly that airplane beyond that time, right? Because that's much of the constraint. We don't have maintenance programs in place to continue those aircraft in service. So we looked at that when this first came about, but there really was no way to have that airplane continue to fly. So September 4th, right? September 4th. We're flying to Roswell, New Mexico, on a Super 80
and a bunch of other people
to retire it. That'll be a good day. Look, that airplane's really important to this company, but it's an important event for us.
But we're keeping the 757 and 320s flying longer.
Basu points out we are keeping the 757s and 320s flying longer than we'd planned. We had some of those scheduled to be retired, and we've extended that. But the MD-80s no.